Have you ever wondered why it's so difficult for you to connect with people? Why there seems to be an invisible barrier between you and most people you meet? Carl Jung believed that there are individuals who carry such a specific, refined energetic frequency that the universe literally prevents them from connecting with just anyone. And if you're here watching this exact video, you might be one of those rare souls. There's a truth about aura that few people understand. It's not about being better or worse than others. It's about carrying such a unique energetic signature that only certain people can resonate with it. It's like a tuning fork that only vibrates when it finds the exact frequency. And when you carry this type of energy, the universe becomes your most protective guardian. Today I'm going to reveal the 13 signs that you carry a rare aura, and that's why the universe won't let you love just anyone. These are markers that only very specific souls can recognize. And if you identify with several of them, it means you're not being too difficult or too demanding. You're simply operating on a frequency that few can reach. So stay with me until the end, because beyond understanding these signs, you'll begin to grasp why your connections are so intense when they happen, why the universe seems so selective about who can get close to you, and most importantly, how to use this rare energy to your advantage to finally attract people who can honor the depth of your soul, instead of passively waiting for the universe to do everything for you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button now, because here we speak to those who feel what can't be explained. Have you ever noticed that you can't fake interest? You can't sustain a conversation that doesn't touch something real? You know when people talk about small talk and you physically feel discomfort, like your energy is being drained? That's the first sign you carry a rare aura. You can't connect with superficiality because your essence vibrates on a much deeper frequency. Jung observed that certain souls develop what he called ontological hunger, a visceral need for truth, for substance, for encounters that touch the essence. You didn't choose to be this way. You simply are. And this makes most people seem empty next to you, not because they're less important, but because they operate on a different frequency. It's as if you were born with an internal detector that immediately identifies when someone is playing a role, when someone is hiding who they really are behind social masks. You feel it in your body, a physical discomfort that warns you this person isn't being authentic. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, no matter how much you try to convince yourself you should be more normal, you can't. This isn't a flaw. It's protection. The universe installed in you such a refined filtering system that only people operating on your frequency can get through. And yes, this can leave you alone sometimes. It can make you question whether you're being too demanding. But the truth is, you weren't made for superficial connections. You were made for soul encounters. The second sign that your aura is rare is that you attract intimate confessions from people you've just met. You've experienced this dozens of times. Someone who should only talk about trivial things suddenly starts sharing secrets. Pain they've never shared with anyone. Dreams they kept to themselves. And afterwards they're surprised at themselves and say, "I don't know why I'm telling you this." But you know why. Because your energy creates a field of safety. A space where the other person's soul feels it can shed its protections and simply exist. Jung would say you naturally access the collective unconscious, creating bridges between people's surface and depth. It's not that you ask invasive questions. It's that your presence invites truth. Like you have a secret password that opens other people's emotional vaults. And this happens because you yourself live without masks. Your authenticity awakens authenticity in others. Your courage to be real authorizes others to be real too. This gift can be exhausting sometimes. Because people arrive carrying heavy stories, unresolved pain, and you become a walking confessional. But understand this isn't coincidence. You carry a healing frequency. Not healing like a therapist, but healing as presence. As someone who simply, by existing, already offers a safe harbor for souls tired of hiding. The third sign is that you feel others' emotions as if they were your own. But you manage to stay whole. You don't get lost in what the other person feels. It's a different, more mature empathy. Like you've developed the ability to dive into others' emotional ocean without drowning with them. This happens because rare souls have gone through a deep individuation process. Jung spoke of individuation as exactly this, becoming capable of holding emotional complexity without being swallowed by it. You feel, you understand, you embrace, but you don't dissolve. And this is extraordinarily rare. Most people either close themselves off completely to avoid feeling others' pain, or open themselves so much they get lost in what isn't theirs. You've found the balance. You can be a bridge between pain and healing, between chaos and peace, and this makes people in crisis naturally drawn to you. They sense that near you they can overflow without fear of breaking you. They can show their wounds without fear of contaminating you. Because they unconsciously perceive you have the emotional structure to hold what they can't hold alone. But at the same time, you don't become codependent. You don't get lost in others' pain. You maintain your own integrity while offering containment to others. The fourth sign that you carry a rare aura is that certain people feel inexplicably disturbed by you. Not because you do anything wrong, but because your light illuminates the shadows they prefer to keep hidden. Jung said the shadow is everything we repress to appear socially acceptable. And when someone comes radiating authenticity, others' shadows start stirring. You must have noticed this. There are people who, for no apparent reason, become defensive around you. They make subtly aggressive comments. They try to diminish you in indirect ways. It's not personal. It's that your energy functions like a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see themselves reflected. Your mere existence questions the masks others wear. Your naturalness exposes others' artificiality, and this can be deeply disturbing for those still living hidden from themselves. It's like you're a living reminder that it's possible to live with more truth, more courage, more integrity. This mirror effect of your aura isn't something you control. It happens automatically, and it can be painful sometimes, because you might be rejected or misunderstood by people who don't even know you well. But understand this rejection has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what your presence awakens in their unconscious. Integrated people, who have already made peace with their own shadows, will feel comfortable and even inspired by you. People still at war internally will feel threatened. And this is a natural filter the universe uses to protect you from connections that could be destructive. The fifth sign is that you have an intuition about people that rarely fails. You sense who's trustworthy and who isn't. Who's being authentic and who's pretending, who has good intentions and who has hidden agendas. And all this happens in a split second, before any deeper conversation. Jung extensively studied what he called unconscious perception, the ability certain people have to pick up information that doesn't come through the 5 traditional senses. You read energies, you pick up vibrations, you perceive inconsistencies between what the person says and what they really feel or think. This ability developed in you because rare souls usually go through experiences that force them to develop more sophisticated protection mechanisms. You learn to read between the lines, to perceive when something wasn't aligned, and this became second nature. The problem is sometimes you might feel crazy, because you know things about people they haven't even said. You sense someone isn't trustworthy, but can't explain why. And if you share these perceptions, other people might find you paranoid or judgmental. But time always confirms your intuitions. This energetic reading ability is one of the most valuable gifts rare souls receive. It's like having an internal radar that protects you from people who could hurt you or drain your energy. Trust this perception. It's guiding you toward truer connections and protecting you from emotional traps. The sixth sign that you have a rare aura is that you feel profound loneliness, even when surrounded by people. It's not ordinary loneliness, the kind anyone can feel. It's existential loneliness, like you're an alien trying to connect with a different species. Jung spoke of what he called the loneliness of pioneers. People who are a few steps ahead of collective consciousness inevitably feel alone, because they see things others don't see yet, feel things others don't feel yet, understand dimensions of existence still inaccessible to most. This loneliness isn't punishment. It's a natural consequence of operating on a higher frequency. It's the price you pay for having developed a more refined perception of reality. You feel displaced because you really are in a different place from average human consciousness. But this loneliness also prepares you to recognize souls that vibrate on your frequency. When you finally meet someone who understands you without explanations, who resonates with your way of seeing the world, who can accompany you into the depths of your thoughts and feelings, you know you've found something rare. Something worth all the waiting. The universe keeps you alone until you find company worthy of you. And when that happens, the connection is so deep, so true, that it compensates for all the moments of loneliness you've lived. Because you weren't made for superficial relationships. You were made for soul encounters that transform existence. The seventh sign is that you have a different relationship with time. You can't force connections. You can't speed up processes that need to mature naturally. You know instinctively that certain things only happen when it's the right time, at the right pace, with the right maturity. This can frustrate you in a society that values instant results. You see people getting involved quickly, making hasty promises, building relationships on fragile foundations, and you can't do that. Your soul demands time to recognize, to trust, to truly open up. Jung observed that older, more evolved souls have a different temporal perception. They understand everything has its time, that forcing processes usually results in fragile structures, that haste is the enemy of depth. You prefer to wait for the right connection rather than settle for the available connection. You prefer to be alone than poorly accompanied. And this might make you seem demanding in others' eyes, but actually it's wisdom. It's understanding that quality is more important than quantity. This cosmic patience you've developed is also a form of self-protection. Because when you finally open to someone, when you finally allow someone to access your depths, you give yourself in a very intense way. And you know you can't do that with just anyone, only with someone who has proven capable of honoring that surrender. The eighth sign that your aura is rare is that you change the energy of environments just by being present. You don't need to do anything specific. You don't need to perform or draw attention. Your mere presence reorganizes the energetic field around you. You must have noticed this. Sometimes you enter a place and conversations pause for a moment, or people who were agitated become calmer, or conflicts that were happening simply dissolve. This isn't imagination. It's the power of your aura operating. Rare souls carry a frequency that harmonizes environments, like a tuning fork that tunes other instruments just by its vibration. Your elevated presence elevates consciousness around you. Even if people don't rationally understand what's happening, they feel something has changed. Jung studied this phenomenon and realized certain people function as energetic anchors. They stabilize fields that are unbalanced, bring peace to chaotic places, inspire truth in environments where falsehood reigns. And they do this effortlessly, simply by being who they are. This gift also brings responsibility, because you can unconsciously affect other people just by your presence. That's why it's important you keep your own energy clean, balanced, loving, because what you radiate influences everything around you. The ninth sign is that you attract people in moments of transition. People going through deep changes, existential crises, spiritual awakening, radical life transformations. It's like your aura emits a signal that only people in metamorphosis processes can pick up. This happens because you yourself have already gone through several symbolic deaths and rebirths. You know the territory of transformation. You know how painful it is to leave old versions of yourself behind. You understand the anguish of being between who you were and who you're becoming. And people sense this. Even without knowing your story, they perceive you're someone who can understand without judging, who can offer stability amid internal chaos, who can be a comforting presence while they navigate unknown waters. You become a kind of soul midwife, helping others give birth to new versions of themselves, offering the support and understanding necessary for them to traverse their transformation processes with more courage and less fear. But it's also important you know how to set boundaries, because it can be exhausting being constantly sought by people in crisis. You need to care for yourself to continue being a safe harbor for others. The 10th sign that you carry a rare aura is that you have difficulty with superficial relationships, but when you meet someone compatible, the connection is extraordinarily intense. There's no middle ground for you. Either it's a deep, transformative connection that touches the soul, or it's nothing. Jung observed that more evolved souls have less capacity to adapt to relationships that don't offer mutual growth. They simply can't sustain interest in connections that don't nourish their soul. And when they meet someone operating on the same frequency, the chemistry is instant and profound. You've probably experienced this. You met someone and felt immediate recognition, like you'd known each other for ages, like you were two puzzle pieces finally fitting together. Conversation flows effortlessly. Silence is comfortable. Understanding is mutual and deep. These connections are rare precisely because you are rare. You don't vibrate on the frequency of the majority. That's why most people can't resonate with you. But when someone can, the result is magical. It's a union of consciousnesses that goes far beyond common physical or emotional attraction. The universe makes you wait for these special connections because it knows you were made to experience love in a higher dimension. Not common love, based on need or lack, but conscious love, based on mutual recognition of essences. The 11th sign is that you have vivid and symbolic dreams, especially about people you haven't met yet. You dream of unknown faces that seem familiar, of places you've never visited but recognize, of situations you haven't lived yet but that touch your soul deeply. Jung dedicated much of his life to studying dreams and concluded they're the language of the collective unconscious. And people with rare auras have more direct access to this dimension. Their dreams are often prophetic, symbolic, full of information about the future or aspects of reality that ordinary consciousness can't perceive. You might dream of your soulmate before meeting them. You might receive warnings about people you should avoid. You might have insights about paths you should follow. Your dreams are messages, guidance, preparations for experiences yet to come. Pay attention to your dreams. Write them down. Reflect on their symbols. They're an internal compass guiding you toward the encounters and experiences your soul needs. The universe communicates with you through this symbolic language because it knows you have the capacity to decode these messages. The 12th sign that you have a rare aura is that you sense when someone is thinking about you. You perceive when you're being watched, even from a distance. You have premonitions that confirm themselves. You pick up information that didn't come through conventional communication channels. This isn't paranormal. It's developed energetic sensitivity. Jung extensively studied these phenomena and concluded certain people have perception that transcends the 5 physical senses. They pick up subtle frequencies, emotional vibrations, connections that exist beyond linear space-time. You might be doing something completely different and suddenly think of someone. Minutes later, that person calls or texts you. You might sense something's wrong with someone dear, even when far away. You might have the feeling someone's talking about you, and later discover you were right. This ability developed in you because your aura operates on a more refined frequency. You're tuned into dimensions of reality most people don't perceive. It's like having a more sensitive antenna picking up signals others can't receive. Trust these perceptions. They rarely fail. They're valuable information that can guide you, protect you, prepare you for situations approaching. Your energetic sensitivity is one of your greatest gifts. The 13th and final sign that you carry a rare aura is that you know, deep in your soul, that you're destined for extraordinary love. Not ordinary love, based on convenience or superficial compatibility, but love that transforms, that elevates, that connects you to deeper dimensions of your own essence. You've felt this forever. Even when others tell you to lower your expectations, to be more realistic, to settle for more practical relationships, something inside you refuses. Because you know you were made for more. You know your soul came to experience connections that go beyond the ordinary. Jung spoke of what he called the conjunctio union, the sacred union between two souls who recognize each other as complementary aspects of the same cosmic essence. He believes certain people have this union inscribed in their destiny, and you're one of them. That's why the universe is so selective with you. That's why it won't let you settle for just anyone. That's why it creates obstacles when you try to force connections that aren't suitable for your frequency. It protects you because it knows you're reserved for something special. It might seem unfair sometimes. It might seem like you're being punished for being too difficult or too demanding. But the truth is you're being prepared. Every experience you live, every person who crosses your path, every lesson you absorb is refining you for the encounter that truly matters. When that encounter happens, you'll understand why you had to wait. Why you had to go through so much loneliness. Why the universe protected you from relationships that seemed good on the surface but couldn't honor the depth of your soul. You'll discover there's a type of love that goes beyond common passion. A love that is recognition, deep understanding, mutual growth, joint creation of a more beautiful reality. A love that doesn't complete you because you're already complete, but expands you to dimensions you didn't even know existed. And then you'll realize every moment of waiting was worth it. That every no you gave to inadequate relationships was actually a yes to the extraordinary relationship that was approaching. That the universe wasn't being cruel to you. It was being careful. Because rare souls deserve rare loves. Refined energies deserve refined connections. You weren't made for the common, the mediocre, what everyone has. You were made to experience dimensions of love that few human beings can reach. If you recognize yourself in most of these signs, understand you're not alone. There's a tribe of rare souls scattered around the world, all going through similar experiences, all being prepared by the universe for extraordinary connections. And the more you accept your rarity, the easier it becomes to attract people who operate on your frequency. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to be more normal or easier. Your rarity isn't a flaw. It's a gift. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's power. Your selectivity isn't arrogance, it's wisdom. The universe made you this way for a reason. It needs people like you to elevate collective consciousness, to show it's possible to live with more authenticity, more depth, and more love. You're a pioneer in territory still unexplored by most of humanity. So honor your rare aura. Celebrate your unique sensitivity. Trust the universe's protection. And know that even if the path is lonely sometimes, it's leading you to connections that will transform not only your life, but the lives of all those lucky enough to truly know you. Because in the end, what matters isn't the number of people who can understand you. It's the quality of connections you build with those few souls who can resonate with your unique frequency. And those connections, when they happen, compensate for all the waiting, all the loneliness, all the preparation process you had to go through. You are rare, and the rare deserve rare connections. The universe knows this. Trust the process. If you recognized yourself in this video, if you felt I was speaking directly to your soul about this unique experience of carrying a rare aura, leave in the comments, "My aura is rare and the universe protects me." That way, I'll know how many of you really made it to the end of this journey and are ready to accept and celebrate your unique rarity. And if you want to completely accelerate this process of self-understanding and acceptance of your unique aura, check out our 2 exclusive materials based on Carl Jung's deepest teachings on individuation and soul development. The first is 21 Days of Transformation with Carl Jung, a practical guide that will take you through the most powerful techniques Jung developed for you to know yourself deeply, integrate your shadow, and most importantly, learn to honor your rarity as a gift, not a burden. The second is the Soul Survival Manual, because I know being a rare soul can be lonely and challenging some days. This manual contains practical strategies, based on depth psychology, for navigating through the most difficult moments of the journey. These are tools you can use when you feel misunderstood, when loneliness weighs heavy, when you question whether it's worth maintaining your high standards. And to continue diving into these deep themes about energy, soul connections, and spiritual development, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Because here we continue exploring the deepest mysteries of the human soul, always based on Carl Jung's teachings and ancestral wisdom that can transform your understanding of yourself and your relationships. See you in the next video.